Welcome to part 3, and here we're going to have a look at enhancing monochrome skin tones. And here we have a shot here. It's a nude shot against black, but if we convert that to black and white, then the girl stands out even more strikingly, and it enhances the shape and form of the girl thanks to the contrast between the blacks and the whites, and also the mid-tones as well, so you can actually see the contours of her curves. And I'm going to show you how to enhance the skin tones using the convert to black and white command, and also we're going to tidy up some of the original problems here because we've got areas that need to be cloned out, like the edge of the table and also the bikini line. So lots to do. Let's get cracking by opening up our start image, and then we'll convert it to this black and white version. Let's kick off by dragging part 03 before into Photoshop's window, and if it opens up in the Camera Raw editor, just click Open Image to continue moving it into the standard Photoshop editor. Then click up here, choose Consolidate All to give us a nice white or grey background, and then we're ready to edit the shot. Let me just Control Plus to zoom in, and you can see here, if I hold the hand tool, we've got a bit of table edge that we need to clone out to improve the image, and also a little bit of a bikini line there we can clone out before we convert the shot to black and white. So what we'll do is we'll heal out the bikini line using the spot healing brush tool, because that gives us a nice blend between the cloned areas and the areas we're actually replacing. And to do that, I'm just going to Control Plus to zoom in for a closer look. Grab the space bar and press that down so we've got the hand tool temporarily, and then we can click here to choose the spot healing brush. I'm going to click to create a new layer, and we're going to heal and clone onto the new layer so that we can always go back to the original photograph if we need to. And to do that, let's click here to create our new layer, and then of course you must click Sample All Layers, because although we're adding new texture to this top layer, we're cloning it from the layer below. Okay, let's just try and clicking and spraying the spot healing brush. I've got a size of around about 50 pixels. If I let go, that should find some clear skin and just gently replace it quite happily. Just take that down to about there as well, and we could also remove the mole if we fancy. Okay, so that's tidied up that bikini line a little bit. We're now ready to clone out the unwanted flaw, and to do that, spacebar again. This time I'm going to grab the clone stamp, and I'm going to make sure I've got aligned clicked, sample all layers clicked, because we're still cloning onto this top layer, and then I'm going to alt click to choose a sample. I'm going to use the right square bracket just to choose a larger brush, around about 175 pixels. You can also choose that from here, of course. And then if I click and spray the sample pixels down over the corner here, that helps us extend the table and make it look less likely that she's going to fall off. You'll need to click Alt a few times. Let's click again here, spray, and extend the table until we get rid of all of the unwanted edge. Alt click again, and it shouldn't take us too long to tidy up this area here. This bit's in shadow a little bit, so I'll sample from here just to continue the shadow. Make sure I don't spray over the arm. But the cool thing is, if I did make a mistake, because we're editing on the top layer, you could always grab the eraser and then erase the problem area, like so. Back to the clone stamp again, alt click this time up here, and continue to click and spray down over the edge to sort out that problem table. If you've got a problem like this, just clone over it. So the cool thing is, because we're on the top layer, there's no danger of permanently erasing any of our models. So there's a bit of her elbow there. I'm going to grab the eraser and get rid of that bit of the clone stamp. There we go. Make sure the opacity is at 100% for the eraser, and just finish off with a left square bracket press just to get a smaller brush tip, and just continue spraying this area here. And then if we grab the spot healing brush, we should be able to just tidy up this blend like so. Okay, I'm going to go Z for the zoom tool, right click, and choose fit on screen. In fact, if I click again, we get a bigger version. So she's now ready to be converted into black and white. Now before we do our conversion, what we need to do is flatten these two layers together, because we're happy with the cloning now. So I just need to click at the top here and choose merge visible, and we now have a flattened layer, because otherwise we might end up with a black and white girl but with the other layer at the top still in colour, which wouldn't do at all. Okay, what I'll do is just hit tab to get rid of the floating windows, right click, fit on screen, and there we are, ready for the conversion. Now we could use a hue saturation adjustment layer and target the reds and yellows of her skin tones and lighten or darken them, or we could use the enhance convert to black and white command and change the red, green and blue channels accordingly. And because we've got lots of reds in the skin tone, it is quite nice to use a style that changes the reds quite significantly. If we go to vivid landscapes, you can see that the reds pops up and that lightens the red skin tones, and it helps make the girls stand out more effectively against the background. You could try other effects as well, like infrared, newspaper. They all have different effects. But for the particular skin tones in this shot here, I think this is very nice. And we still have the nice contours and textures there between the highlights and the shadows of the girl's body. So let's click OK. And there you have your black and white conversion with the girl's milky white skin standing out against the stark black background. And you can see her shape and form much more clearly now, thanks to the enhanced contrast that you get in these black and white images. Now, one of the key features, the face, is actually lost a little bit in the greys there, so we could lighten the face a little bit just to draw attention to it. And to do that, what we're going to do is choose this tool here, which is the dodge tool, and that allows us to lighten specific tones. And the tones we're after are the highlights, so click and choose highlight. Keep exposure really low so you can do it gently and gradually, and a nice large brush of 1300 pixels should do the trick. Then just click and spray a little bit just to gently lighten the face. Let me Control Z to undo that, and you can see the subtle difference. Edit, redo, just to bring out some of the detail there. You could also, of course, burn in some more shadows by clicking on the burn tool, changing the range to shadows. I'll use the right square bracket to get a slightly larger brush, and then just gently click and spray, and that darkens this area here a little bit more and creates a little bit more contrast. I'm going to Control Z, I think, to undo that and make that even more subtle. Take it to about 7% and just gently spray over here to create a little bit more contrast between the shadows and the midtones and the highlights. So there we have our final monochrome nude print. And coming up in the next part of our monochrome video lesson, we're going to have a look at mimicking traditional film grain in our black and white prints.